Hey everyone, welcome back. Or if you're just joining us, welcome to KSSP Podcast. I'm Spencer,
And I'm Katie.
and in this episode, we're gonna be talking about a budget. So, we'll kind of just, budgeting. We all have to do it. So, to budget like a household, is that how the government should be?
Well, there's this highly pushed narrative that the federal government must budget like a household, but why is that? Well, it's easy to understand. We think the federal government has to budget like a household based on our experiences since we as citizens have to. So, what would make the government any different? Well, the government, unlike us citizens, makes its own money. It's the issue of our currency, whereas we are merely the users. You can think of the federal government as having a monopoly on the creation of the US currency. Only the federal government has the ability to create the US currency. This and the fact that we switch to a fiat currency gives the US monetary sovereignty. With having monetary sovereignty, the federal government cannot run out of money, nor does it depend on anyone else for its currency. In other words, Uncle Sam can never go broke.
But don't we fund the government? Actually, no. Taxes don't fund the federal government. The federal government doesn't need our money, we need theirs. If the federal government has a monopoly on US currency creation, then how and why would it have to rely on our taxes? So then you may be wondering, why pay taxes? Well, with MMT, there are a couple of different reasons that taxes can and should be utilized. One is that taxes are one way that's used to get people working and producing things for the government. Another reason is that taxes can be used to help inflation, to help control inflation, bring it down if it's too high. They can be used to alter the distribution of wealth, which could help with our wealth inequality problem, as we discussed previously. And they may also be used to encourage or discourage certain behaviors. So we could see an increased tax on cigarettes, or there could be a carbon tax, etc. And on the other side, we could see tax rebates to encourage electric appliances or vehicles. So my taxes weren't used to bail out Wall Street? No. Taxpayers didn't bail out Wall Street in the collapse, the government did, just as taxpayers didn't bail out the PPP loans, nor would taxpayers be bailing out student loans. The government just deletes debt from the system without worrying about covering the cost. This does not cost taxpayers anything because the government makes its own money, and the money has already been paid to the person loaning it before the debt was forgiven. So then we can get rid of taxes, right? Well, MMT is not about removing taxes. It's about looking at the economy from a different approach rather than a budgeted approach. It's about prioritizing human outcomes while respecting the limits of the economy.
But balancing the budget can't be bad, right? Even if we have monetary sovereignty, shouldn't we still balance the budget? Well, if we look back in history, the budget has been balanced before. Our debt has been nearly or fully paid off. You know what always follows? Well, we'll start in 1835 with Andrew Jackson. The only or the one time in US history the national debt was paid all the way down. Now surely we'd think that's something to celebrate, right? Well, actually, we were headed for one of the worst economic downturns we've ever experienced. Each and every time the government substantially reduced the national debt, the economy fell into depression. And this happened again with Bill Clinton's presidency as well.
So, as we have gone over and explained, the federal government does not need a budget like a household, and it really shouldn't, because unlike a household, the federal government is the issuer of its own currency. So, in our next video, we'll be going over inflation and what MMT thinks about inflation. So, we'll see you in the next video, and you can also leave a comment below just letting us know what you want us to cover in future episodes.
Yeah, you can reach out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we also occasionally Twitch live stream, so watch out for those.
So don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know when we do. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode.